Hi, everyone. My name is Olubumi Jayola. I go by Olu. I'm a pharmacist by trade. I currently work at the FDA. And today, I'm going to be giving a case presentation on the Albus. So, I'm going to give you an overview of what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Seoul, South Korea. What is the Albus? Goals and objectives. I've identified 3 problems within this case presentation that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the solutions to the problems, the results, resources, and conclusion. Okay, first let's talk about Seoul, South Korea. The city of Seoul covers a total surface area of 605.21 square kilometers. Population was recorded at 10.29 million in 2016. The capital, Seoul is the capital and the largest metropolis of South Korea. Seoul is the business and financial hub of South Korea and ranked as one of the largest metropolitan economies. Seoul Metropolitan Government, SMG, is the executive branch of the government, and the Seoul Metropolitan Council is the legislative. Okay, so a lot of you are probably wondering, what's the Albus? The Albus is also known as the Seoul Night Bus. It's the brand name of the Seoul, South Korea city's intra-city buses that run from midnight to 5 a.m. The goal, to make Seoul's public transportation service ceaseless, carrying the city's late-night commuters. The first of its kind in Korea, so policymakers struggled to shape action plans in detail. So they had a hard time selecting the routes, and they were going to have a hard time trying to figure out how to make sure that this operation stays efficient. Location analytics and social media help SMG to overcome these challenges. Goals and objectives. Improve convenience for those taking public transportation after midnight. Lessen financial burdens on the economically disadvantaged, such as self-employed small business owners. Address citizens' everyday concerns by customizing policy measures using big data technology. Here's the first problem that I identified. First, the subway line was opened in 1974, but saw a transformation reform carried out in 2004. So, SMG introduced measures to ensure greater convenience and better mobility of the citizens. However, students and workers, such as sanitary workers or small business owners, found it hard to benefit from the pre-existing systems. Most suffered from poor working conditions and low salaries, yet had to pay late night extra charge when using taxi. During the late night and dawn hours, there were not enough cabs available for all the people who needed them. As a result, illegal operations by taxi drivers demanding extra fares or refusing passengers became common, seriously inconveniencing citizens. Practical limitations made it difficult to control such irregularities, including a shortage of police officers responsible for preventing such violations and difficulties in proving that drivers were refusing passengers are demanding illegal excess fares even when caught red-handed. So basically, what we saw here is taxi drivers were taking advantage of the citizens of Seoul. They knew that they were in demand, and so they wanted to charge a little extra. And there weren't a lot of police officers around to really regulate this. And so taxi drivers got away with it because people couldn't find proof. The third problem that I identified was there's a public consensus on the need for new means of transportation to support urban dwellers, economic activities. Seoul transformed into a global city within just 50 years, emerging as a prime location of the global economy. So remember, I said earlier when I was talking about Seoul, I said it's the business and the financial hub of South Korea. And so now you have an economic and cultural activities expansion in size and scope. Citizens reached a consensus on the need for a bus service that operates from midnight to dawn. So now the economy in Seoul is increasing, and the size of the citizens who are working, especially late at night, are increasing. And so you can see that there's a need for a bus service that needs to operate at night. One of the solutions was to test operation of night bus at the request of the citizens. So the SMG created 120 call centers and the official blog to better listen to the voices of the citizens. So basically you had these citizens call in. You have these citizens call in, letting the government know, hey, we're dealing with a lot of people not being able to get home at an efficient time. We're dealing with taxi drivers taking advantage of us. And so SMG developed various policy measures based on the information collected through those channels. Also, they created an on-site survey which was conducted for 6 months from October 2012 and found it necessary to operate a late-night bus service. And then on April 19th, 2013, city government began operating 2 pilot routes exclusively for an after midnight service. So here I try to find pictures or images to show one, the OWL bus route in Seoul. And then I got an actual picture of the OWL bus and what it looks like. And then lastly, I found a picture of one of the questions that was given in the on-site survey, which says, should there be night buses in Seoul? And 88% said yes. Another solution that I found in the case presentation was that location analytics and social media was location analytics and social media. So social media and location analytics played a big role in expanding the bus routes and selecting the name OwlBus. So with all this news and buzz of the late bus spreading over SNS channels, citizens suggested naming the late night bus. In response, the government invited public ideas for the naming of the service, and as a result, the brand name OwlBus, the letter N for late night, and the character that portrays an owl operating a bus were selected. These symbols have been used to mark bus stop signs, bus route map, and numbers to distinguish the late night buses from day ones. So as you can see in the upper right hand corner, I'm trying to find a small little picture that shows the N stands for night, 37, that's the number of the bus, and then you can see the owl to the right of it. During the initial stages of mapping out the operations for night bus, the issue of selecting bus routes emerged. Like I mentioned earlier, the government color-coded regions by call volume based on data provided by a private communication service provider, Korea Telecom, KT. KT analyzed the number of passengers who got on and got off at each bus stop in the heavy call volume regions, and connected the dots to develop the most pertinent routes. So for 3 months following the launch of the test operation, the service was extremely well received by 220,000 people. 7 new lines were determined by taking into consideration the heavy concentration of people on the move during the late night hours. Results. The service provides citizens with real-time operation information. The OwlBus riders can check arrival times and bus stop locations through the website or smartphone apps. Because the service operates late at night, safety measures were critical. Besides the protective partition and speeding prevention device, mandatory inspections before driving were instituted. Also, drivers with proven qualifications were paid generous wages so that they couldn't take on other vocational activities during the day and could concentrate on nighttime driving. The OwlBus has helped invigorate culture and IT technologies, improve post-midnight mobility. It has revitalized late-night activities such as movies, city tours, and shopping. With Wi-Fi networks in the buses, the communication industry is expected to grow further, and the ability to process transactions on the move has improved passengers' quality of life. I also want to mention here that the OwlBus, you saw a constant rise from June 2009 to June 2013, a total of 1,735,000 people who were taking the bus. You also saw that the citizens of Seoul were saving money. They were expected to save over 6,000 Korean wons, only because the OwlBus charges $18.50 per trip. And then it was also highlighted that heavy traffic was from midnight to 3 a.m. Resources. To finance the operation of the OwlBus, budget provision was needed to pay for the labor costs and the installation of safety facilities such as protective walls for drivers and a speeding prevention system. However, these expenses were covered by the joint management funds for the shift from the private to quasi-public bus operation. Consequently, additional costs were not incurred. Information systems connected inside the vehicles, such as the bus management system, the bus information unit, and bus information tool, enable comprehensive tool of the bus operations and efficient adjustment intervals while providing users and drivers with real-time operation information. So in conclusion, the OwlBus was a success. Citizens of Seoul can benefit from a cost-effective and efficient transportation system that was designed with the help of social media and location analytics. Here are some of the questions to think about. Would the system work in other metropolitan areas in other countries? How would you improve the OwlBus? Or do you think there's a flaw in their system? And then lastly, social media plays an important role in today's society. Do you think social media and analytics can play a bigger role in underdeveloped countries, and why? And especially with that last question, number 3, I really thought about it only because my family is from Nigeria, and I'm not too sure that they have a great working bus route system that works from midnight to 5 a.m. So I'm wondering myself, and I would love to hear everyone's opinion. Do you think that, again, social media and analytics can play a bigger role when you have these underdeveloped countries that are trying to improve their transportation system? Thank you guys for listening to my case presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you get to reflect on the questions that I asked. And if you guys have any comments, concerns, please let me know. All right. Have a great one.